Good morning, people. It is February 2nd, 2022. Yeah. And also it's 2. Okay. Yeah. Good morning and welcome to RPtv. Today's February 2nd, 2022.
Mic check, Tom Brady, Toyota, Tuesday, February 2022. Day of the Tues, I don't know, Taco Tuesday. I go to Taco Bell after this. Today's Wednesday?
You're good. Alana, go.
Hello! Let's go back to Heather's on this report. I don't know where I was going with this. I think I meant Mean Girls, but I said Heather's for some reason. Oh my god, what have I done?
Because Heather's is an actual movie.
Yeah, fair enough.
Please rise and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning and welcome to RPtv. Today is Monday, February 2nd, 2022. After After a few days of confusion and everyone wondering what he will do, Tom Brady has officially retired from professional football. Let's go to Julian for that report.
Tom Brady, after 22 seasons, 7 Super Bowl wins, and 5 Super Bowl MVP awards, has officially announced his retirement. Some of his achievements are the most touchdown passes, most passing yards by a quarterback, most games played by a quarterback, and has the most Super Bowl wins by a single player. On Saturday, ESPN reported that according to sources, Tom Brady was planning on retiring, but his family said that he had not come to a decision. On Monday, Brady said on his podcast that he wasn't ready to finalize his plans for the future yet. But yesterday on his Instagram, Tom Brady posted the official announcement saying, "This is difficult for me to write, but here it goes. I am not going to make that competitive commitment anymore. I've loved my NFL career, and now it is time to focus my time on energy on other things that require my attention." Now, Tom Brady plans to focus on his family and on his business adventures. Brady will be eligible for the NFL Hall of Fame in 2027.
In case you didn't know, today is Groundhog Day, and while we patiently wait to hear if he has seen a shadow, let's go to Alana to tell us the history of this important day.
On February 2nd, 1887, Groundhog Day, featuring a rodent meteorologist, is celebrated for the first time at Gobbler's Knob in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. According to tradition, if a groundhog comes out of its hole on this day and sees its shadow, it gets scared and runs back into its burrow, predicting 6 more weeks of winter weather. No shadow means an early spring. Groundhog Day has its roots in the ancient Christian tradition of Candlemas, when clergy would bless and distribute candles needed for winter. The candles represented how long and cold the winter would be. Germans expanded on this concept by selecting an animal, the hedgehog, as a means of predicting weather. Once they came to America, German settlers in Pennsylvania continued the tradition, although they switched from hedgehogs to groundhogs, which were plentiful in the Keystone State. Groundhogs, also called woodchucks, typically weigh 12 to 15 pounds and live 6 to 8 years. They eat vegetables and fruits, whistle when they're frightened or looking for a mate, and can climb trees and swim. They go into hibernation in the late fall. During this time, their body temperatures drop significantly, their heartbeats slow from 80 to 5 beats per minute, and they can lose 30% of their body fat. In February, male groundhogs emerge from their burrows to look for a mate, not to predict the weather, before going underground again. They come out of hibernation for good in March. In 1887, a newspaper editor belonging to a group of groundhog hunters from Punxsutawney, called the Punxsutawney Groundhog Club, declared that Phil, the Punxsutawney groundhog, was America's only true weather forecasting groundhog. The line of groundhogs that have been known as Phil might be America's most famous groundhogs, but other towns across North America now have their own weather predicting rodents, from Birmingham Bill to Staten Island Chuck.
And now it's time for announcements. Spanish Club meeting, Wednesday, February 2nd, after school in room 5. Freshman class of 2025. It's time to raise some dough. Cookie dough sale runs from February 15th until March 10th. Please make checks payable to RPHS. Email or see Ms. Sosa in room 106 or Ms. Clausy in room 112 with questions. Help out with snow removal. The Casano Center is looking for students who would like to help senior citizens with snow removals. They can volunteer their time or can get paid by the seniors. If interested, send an email to Ms. Almanzar. Please include a phone number where you can be reached. Chorus Club will hold its next meeting on Wednesday, February 9th at 3 o'clock in the music room, room 22. New members are welcome. For more information, contact Mr. Wachowski.
Pharmacies across the country are stocking up on free N95 masks for the general public after the Biden administration announced last week it would be giving out 400 million masks from its national stockpile. N95 masks are the optimal mask to wear for protection against COVID-19, especially the Omicron variant. According to a recent update from the CDC, loosely woven cloth masks provide the least amount of protection. Well-fitting disposable surgical masks and N95s offer the highest level of protection. The CDC has put out a list of participating pharmacies that are setting up for the distribution of COVID-19 vaccines and masks. Participating pharmacies in New Jersey include Acme, Walgreens, CVS, Costco, Walmart, and Rite Aid. Make sure to check with your participating pharmacy or store to see if there are masks available. Multiple pharmacies will have different timelines on when the free N95 mask will be distributed to the public.
Toyota has been known for making high-quality trucks and cars for decades. Now, they are preparing to take it up a notch by creating a cruiser for the moon. Let's go back to Julian for that story.
Toyota is known for making reliable, affordable, and comfortable cars, but now they're taking things to space. With the help of the Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency, they're developing the Lunar Cruiser, named after the popular Land Cruiser that Toyota develops. The idea is for people to be able to sleep, eat, work, and communicate with other vehicles. The cruiser will also have a robotic arm for maintenance, inspections, and if the end of the arm is changed, it'll be able to scoop, lift, and sweep objects. The goal, according to the head of the project, is by going to space, we may be able to develop communications and other technology that will prove useful and valuable to human life. The model has a planned launch in the late 2020s with the goal that people can live on the moon by 2040 and then eventually on Mars.
Stay tuned, we will be right back.
In order to prevent youth violence, it's important to recognize the warning signs.
What could you do if your friend displays a lack of coping or conflict resolution skills?
What would you do if you witnessed someone making overt threats of violence in pictures, videos, or spoken or written words?
What would you think if someone you know had appeared with dramatic changes in physical appearance?
What if they displayed a lack of discipline and repeatedly failed to follow rules?
Have you noticed someone using intimidation or bullying behaviors? You will have to contact school officials or local law enforcement.
That's it for us today. Thanks for watching RPtv. Have a great day and stay tuned for CNN 10.
World Record Lightning Mega Flash. Sounds like a pretty bright place to kick off a new show. I'm Carl Azus, it's good to see you. According to a spokesman from the World Meteorological Organization, a mega flash is a really big lightning flash. The official definition is any horizontal lightning bolt that travels more than 62 miles. But the record-breaking mega flash that the WMO just announced was a little bit bigger. This bolt covered a distance of roughly 477 miles, and it struck across a path from Texas to Louisiana on April 9th, 2020. How do scientists know? How do they measure this stuff? A lot of it's done using Lightning Mapping Array Networks, a group of antennas, receivers, and computers that record lightning. These networks are based from the ground, though. They have limitations when it comes to mega flashes. So what researchers have been doing is using satellites to record and measure lightning events, and that's given them a new tool that collects more data about them. This led to the recent discovery of another record, one that was set in South America. On October 31st, 2018, a single mega flash lasted just over 17.1 seconds. That was the longest mega flash ever recorded. It lit up the skies over Uruguay and northern Paraguay, and it probably scared the daylights out of anyone who noticed a 17-second lightning bolt. Geostation lightning mapper technology on satellites is relatively new, so scientists think that bigger and brighter mega flashes will be observed in the future. They say one big takeaway from this is that it shows people just how far lightning can reach, and that can encourage folks to stay safe and take shelter as severe weather season approaches in the spring. The crash of an American fighter jet in the South China Sea is another complication in an ongoing international dispute over these waters. Located between Vietnam and the Philippines, the South China Sea is one of the busiest shipping routes on the planet. China says it controls this body of water, and since 2014, it's been building artificial islands here to support its claims. But other nations in the region and several beyond it, including the United States, say China doesn't control these waters, and the U.S. regularly sails warships there to support claims that these are international waters.
The final approach of an F-35C stealth fighter jet, seconds before it crash lands into the flight deck of a U.S. aircraft carrier. Images circulated on social media, confirmed by the U.S. Navy, show the plane moments later in the ocean, canopy open after its pilot escaped. The cause of the crash, which injured the pilot and 6 sailors, still under investigation. The Navy now has the difficult task of recovering the wreckage of a $100 million jet from the bottom of the ocean, to make sure, defense experts say, that its classified technology doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
The Chinese have a long history of being able to borrow something from overseas and reverse engineer it. So that this would certainly be a gold mine as far as that goes.
The crash occurred here in the South China Sea, a heavily trafficked body of water that Beijing claims almost all for itself. And this is where 2 American aircraft carriers are currently operating, accompanied by more than 100 warplanes and at least 10 other warships, an unmistakable demonstration of U.S. naval power to both allies and rivals in Asia.
It is a powerful reminder that the Indo-Pacific is of central strategic importance to the Biden administration. It's about signaling to other competitors in the region, most notably China, that the United States' credibility should not be taken lightly.
The Chinese Foreign Ministry says it's not interested in the crashed plane. A spokesman urged the U.S. to contribute more to regional peace, rather than flexing force at every turn. But Chinese state media did some gloating, saying the crash exposed U.S. exhaustion at containing China. Experts predict it will take several weeks for the U.S. Navy to recover this expensive wreck from the bottom of the sea. Ivan Watson, CNN, Hong Kong.
10-second trivia. Which of these sports made its Olympic debut in the 1920 Summer Games? Ice hockey, cycling, curling, or fencing? Ice hockey was first played in the 1920 Summer Games and moved to the first Winter Olympics in 1924. Women's ice hockey was added to the Olympics in 1998, and at every tournament since then, the gold medal has gone to either Canada or the United States. After an American victory in '98, Canada won 4 Olympics in a row from 2002 to 2014, but the U.S. is the defending champion from the 2018 Games in South Korea. One of the players on America's current Olympic team was born just across the St. Mary's River from Canada. Hockey is in her blood.
It's made me who I am today, playing with the guys and having to be tough and not let things get to you. Have to always be proving people wrong because people don't think you're tough enough to play with the boys or good enough to play with the boys until they really see it.
She does have a chip. She's always had it. Even in boys hockey, she had a little edge to her. She stood up for herself, and biggest challenge was just trying to find a place for her to change a lot of these rinks. No one had women's locker rooms. She was in closets.
When you're younger, especially back in the day, I would look at players and I would think, I want to be in the NHL. But there wasn't an NHL for girls like me, especially at the time. And I was sitting there, I was like, well, what else can I do? And then all of a sudden you see these amazing U.S. hockey players on the Olympic stage doing their thing. And I'm like, yeah, that's my dream. That's the highest you can go in hockey, and that's the team I want to be on. My dad was a hockey coach growing up. My mom wanted me to be in figure skates. I hated them. So I basically forced my way out of the figure skates and into hockey skates because I just wanted to be like my dad and like his players.
She was generally interested in everything from the equipment to how the guys dressed, what sticks they used, and all the little things they would do with pucks on the ice. And so it was great to have her around.
For him, it was all about having fun. He was never trying to make me the best hockey player in the world. I think he just knew I loved it and wanted me to be exposed to it, and built the ice rink so I could have fun with my friends. And I think that's where a lot of my skill and my talent really comes from, is just all those years having fun in the backyard. I've definitely had an unconventional journey to get to this team. Growing up as an Indigenous person, it wasn't really that rare to see other hockey players playing who had Indigenous roots, and then I got to college, and I think that's where it really clicked for me that you're different than the rest of the people.
It's a challenge I know for a lot of Indigenous kids to get off the reserve or off the band and move away and fit in. But Abby obviously was real lucky that she grew up with a lot of kids like that in her town.
I want to help to diversify hockey as a sport. Making the sport more diverse is just trying to make it more accessible first of all, but also just gaining more visibility that you can make it. I think looking at this roster as a young kid, you didn't see anybody who wasn't a white hockey player. For me, that goes a long way, seeing somebody like you doing it, being at the top of the game and knowing that you can make it that far and that hockey is a sport that includes you. If one little girl says, I want to play hockey because she's playing hockey, I think that would mean the world to me. Just changing one person's trajectory and letting them know that there is a place for them in hockey, and letting hockey do its thing, because hockey really is one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me.
The other night I was watching something and I kind of had tears in my eyes just thinking about it a little bit. I have an Olympian daughter, and now she's going to go to the Olympics and try to win a gold medal. And she wrote a letter to herself in grade 6 that she was going to play at Wisconsin. She was going to play in the Olympic team, and the only thing she hasn't done yet is get the Mustang, she said in the letter she's getting. So I mean, she's a focused kid.
It's just really special to be able to represent your country on truly the biggest stage there is.
This isn't a one-time thing for Abby. I think she wants to play now, and she wants to play in 4 years. I think Abby wants to play for a long time. She loves it.
I wouldn't want to play hockey unless it was the most fun thing in the world, and it really is for me.
As of yesterday afternoon, the cheapest seats you could buy for Super Bowl 56 were selling for $7,000 each. The average price was around $10,000 or more, and the cost could go even higher in the coming days. That makes this the most expensive Super Bowl ever for tickets. The Cincinnati Bengals have never won a championship. The city of Los Angeles, California hasn't hosted a Super Bowl in 30 years, and it's a huge metropolitan area where prices are expensive anyway. So those are all factors in ticket prices. So the prices are super. It's almost unbelievable for some fans in the stands. It's almost unachievable, and their bankers may block them, saying it's out of bounds for them to draw down accounts just to see some touchdowns. But if you've received a raise and can foot the bill for football, hike your budget and you make the call. I'm Carl Azus. Want to give a shout out to all the homeschoolers watching today. We know you represent a growing part of our audience, and we're thankful for you and everyone viewing CNN.